So, Penacony is right around the corner, and with the 2.0 update bringing many characters, and many character reruns with them, and many people wanting to pull these many characters because they are just so damn hot. Loads of you might be confused about which characters you should really pull. So, today I'm bringing you the definitive, in my small, content creator humble opinion, Honkai Star Rail tier list to take you into 2.0. S plus tier is an absolutely must build or must get character, and D is a not worth building character. This list won't just focus on the usability of the characters, but how easy they are to get and how easy they are to build. Standard characters will rate higher for being standard. Free 4 stars will also rate higher for being free. 4 stars are all counted as E6 and 5 stars are all at E0. Before we start, please do subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Also do consider joining the Express Train Discord server, and if you're feeling generous, joining my memberships as well. Onto the video now. First off, let's start with the physical and fire MCs. Tierlist is physical and still is fire, I guess. Physical MC is a solid choice for when you first start out in the game, as he honestly should be. But later he becomes way too weak, his multipliers are small and his kit doesn't provide anything special. Alright unit for starters, but don't really focus on building him too much. Fire MC is really good though. Even in the later stages of your HSR life, not the best sustain, not by a long shot, but definitely a great choice to carry you until you get her better sustain. Plus, building her is so easy, just stack defense, the most common stat. Physical MC gets the C tier, while fire gets the B tier. Next up we've got Himiko. For a while, ever since the start of the game, Himiko's been called one of the worst 5 stars since her damage multis were low, never impressive, but now, with Pure Fiction, as I've stated in my Pure Fiction list, you can do her follow-up attack so many times, it's quite insane. She's easily the second best character for Pure Fiction. Since she is a standard banner character, you don't really need to invest much into. She easily gets S plus tier. She is so good there. God damn it, dude. Okay, there we go. She easily gets the S plus tier. There we go. Next up, we've got Welt. By the way, this is so out of order. It's just a list I found on that one tier list website everyone uses. Welt is a good unit. Standard character with a nice kit, good speed debuffs, imprisonment. I'd usually put him in B tier, but now with Dr. Ratio, who benefits from having as many debuffs put on the enemy as possible, and Welt being able to put at least 2 on the enemy, he shoots up a tier, in my opinion. A tier. Next up we've got March 7th, the cutie patootie herself, my favorite character in Star Rail. Sadly she's not that good, she's basically just a side grade to the Fire MC. The only reason to use one over the other is because of element differences and March's ability to freeze. She gets the B tier just like Fire MC, but higher than Fire MC herself. Wind Down Hung is next and I've got basically nothing to say about this man. Average unit, not that good, bottom of B tier, would've put him in C if it wasn't for Dr. Ratio needing debuffs. He has slow. Moving on to quite possibly the worst character in the game, Arlo. Does bad damage, has bad survivability, he takes away his own HP without restoring it consistently, his kit could have been good but he got nerfed to hell before launch. D tier for this man, this short little guy, this little idiot. Next up, we've got Asta. A pretty good Harmony unit. She's got a great attack buff and a great speed buff, and she's got really good toughness breaking potential. She also has a burn effect, but it's not really that good. Good in Kafka teams, but nowhere near as useful as like Ruan May. Still, she's really good. A tier for Asta. Next up we've got Herta. Herta, just like Himiko, was absolutely bottom of the barrel before Pure Fiction, but now, with Pure Fiction, you can do her follow-up attacks, just like Himiko, many times in a row. I think someone did like 10 times in a row, which is quite insane, did quite a lot of damage. So Herta shoots up many tiers. She gets, honestly, never expected this, the S tier. Next up we've got Bronya. Bronya is definitely one of the best units in the game, absolutely correct support with a 100% action advance skill with damage increase, and an extremely powerful burst granting loads of crit damage. Correct character, absolutely easy, S plus tier. Now let me delete the afro really quickly, there we go, much better. Next is Clara, or Svarog, I guess. Clara does great damage outside of her turn, but honestly it's way overshadowed by other units. However, she is really good for Pure Fiction. She can murk a whole wave of enemies by herself, if they keep attacking her constantly. She gets, pretty easily, an A tier. Next up is Jabard, definitely an underrated sustain unit, one of the best in fact. He way outperforms Fushuan and Luocha and Huohuo against stronger bosses with potential to one-shot like in Swarm Disaster and Golden Gears, and maybe future Sumuni expansions. Absolutely easily S plus tier, he is so underrated. The next challenger approaching is Hook. the greatest fire destruction unit so far. Jokes aside, Hook is a severely underrated character. She can actually, in some cases, do more damage than a certain 1.1 5-star character who's a general. Bottom of A tier for Hook. Actually, top, middle of A tier for Hook. There you go. Next up is Natasha. I'm not gonna say much. Pretty good sustain unit. She's free. Lynx is better though. She's also free, so bottom of B tier. Next up is Pela. Pretty good Nihility unit. Very good AoE defense shred. Her skill also removes buffs from enemies. She gets top of A tier. Top of A tier, there we go. Next up is Sempo. Sempo is one of the best supports for Kafka before Black Swan comes out. But honestly, with Black Swan, he's gonna shoot down many tier lists. She's not out yet, but there's a ripple effect around her. Sempo would usually be in the A tier for me, but now he's easily in the bottom of B. Next up is Serval. Serval is definitely a great early game carry and can work with Kafka, but she's just not the best, even in pure fiction. She gets top of B. Bailu is next. Bailu bad. 0 cleanse in her kit, almost no effect res either. I'd put her in B, but honestly the revive is pretty nice, so that's why she gets bottom of A tier. Next is Yanqing. Another pretty bad unit. I hate this little blonde idiot so much. His RNG kit cost me so many Simuni runs, it's quite insane. There are better ice DPSs out there. He gets, I don't know, top of B tier.
Still waiting!
Next up is Xingqiu. Everyone just suddenly started loving this little dumbass when Propagation came out. Understandably so, though. She's absolutely cracked with it, but only okay without it. I guess we'll put her at the bottom of A tier. Next is Susheng. Now, little Sushi on the surface may not seem so great, but build her with break effect and time her burst correctly, and you've got a pretty nice physical hunt unit. I've experienced that firsthand. Not as good as other physical DPSs, that's for sure, but still pretty solid. Top of B tier, top of B tier. Next up is another cracked support, our beautiful dead Foxy Tingyun. The Bennett of Star Rail. Really good unit, very strong attack buff and very strong ERR buff. Easily top of S tier. Next up is Xingqiu. I honestly thought I would have rated this guy in A, but I just can't because of pure fiction. He's alright in there. S tier, I guess. Next is Sela. Not much to say about her. Good damage, good hunt unit. Can kill up to 4 enemies in one turn. Sexy outfit. She gets S tier. Higher than Xingqiu. Next up is Silver Wolf. I was gonna rate her high, but then decided on lower, but then decided on high again because of Dr. Ratio. She was good at the start and then became kinda worse, but then with Dr. Ratio, she reset her place in the meta. She gets the S+ tier. Next up is Luocha. Nothing needs to be said. Absolutely incredible healer. Needs 0 skill points to heal effectively, actually has cleanse, his ult removes buffs from enemies. Easily, S+ tier. Next up is Yukong. She can be a great support and boost your damage a bunch, but her kit is finicky even at E6. She's hot as hell and I want to rate her higher, but she's just not as cracked as the other supports. We'll put her in the bottom of A tier. Actually no, top of B tier. Top of B tier, there you go. Next up is Blade. Blade is definitely one of the best units in the game. He's almost impossible to kill and can even turn into a healer in the simulated universe. Does great damage too. Easily S tier. Put him right there. Next up is Kafka. Very good DPS unit, but needs to be paired up with dog characters to unleash her potential. That's fine though. She is going to become even better with Acheron and Black Swan. And while I want to put her in S+ because of Black Swan and Acheron, it's a 3 limited 5-star team that's not that easily achievable for most FTPs, so I will settle for top of S. Top of S, there we go. This website is so confusing, man. Next is Luka. Not much to say, he's aight. Not the best Dota player out of the few we have in the game. The problem is he's only single target. Mid. B tier. Quite the bottom of B tier, actually. His break effect is quite good, but it doesn't save his kit. Next up is Dan Hung IL, or Imaginary Dan Hung. I did put this little man in A tier in my Pure Fiction tier list, but in this general tier list, I can't put him any lower than S+. He's really good, actually. He can do some great damage. His only problem is his skill point consumption, which will be fixed with Sparkle. You get Sparkle, you're gonna get a load of skill points, and she's gonna boost the damage too. He easily will get an S+ tier just for that. We'll put him right there. Guifen is up next, and she is definitely the overall best sustain in the game. You can't really use her in GNG and Swarm Disaster in higher difficulties because she just gets one-shotted, but other than that, she excels so hard in any other piece of content. Absolutely easy S+ tier. Next up is Lynx. Not much to say here either. I've never used her, but I know she's pretty good. She actually has cleanse, unlike a certain dragon child. I'm gonna put her in the bottom of A tier. Next up is... No, nothing needs to be said here at all. I mean, Xingqiu is definitely the absolute best DPS character in the game. So easy to use, so skill point efficient, insane damage output. Absolutely easily top of S+ tier. Next up is Toaz. Toaz would have ranked lower on many tier lists if it wasn't for Dr. Ratio. She applies an extra little debuff on the enemies and does her own follow-up attack with some pretty good damage, so she's a really good teammate for a walking JoJo reference of a character. S tier, just for that. Next is Guifen. Guifen is probably my favorite Kafka support unit, aside from Ruan May. I actually was able to hit 111k with just Guifen's basic attack, but with Ruan May buffing her up. I don't have that on video sadly. Imagine doing like 500k with her burst against 5 of the ice dudes. She's pretty good and her dot damage is really good too. She is definitely like top of A tier for me. Next up is Huohuo. Really good healer, really good cleanse, really good buffs too. She gets S+ tier with Fushuan and Luocha. Next is Argenti. Argenti definitely took the community by storm when he first came out, because no one expected him to be this damn good. He was her addition after all. Does insane damage, and especially in pure fiction, he is definitely the best unit for pure fiction. S+ tier. Next up is Hanya. Hanya is a pretty good support, not the best but still a solid choice and can give an extra skill point in downhung IL teams. However, she will be power creeped very hard by Sparkle. So, do you really need to build her? Unless you don't have Sparkle, she's not that good. She can get, I don't know, bottom of A tier. Next up is Dr. Ratio, our savior, bathwater man himself, the best hunt unit in the game, a man of many titles he is, and he's free. S+ tier. Absolutely build him. You've got him, I know you do. Alright, our last two characters, Ruan May and Shui. Ruan May is definitely the best support in the game, flat out. I have nothing else to add. Insane buffs to you and insane debuffs on the enemy. Easily S+ tier. Shui is actually probably the best 4-star main DPS in the game. She's actually quite insane. Even though I never hit any clips with her, it's just because I'm not focusing on building her. But if you do, she can dish out some great damage. Not as good as the S+ tier DPSs though, so I'll just put her, I don't know, in the bottom of S tier. Alright, and that's it. Please tell me what you think down in the comments below, your opinions and your gripes with this tier list. Let me know what's good and what's bad and what's ugly. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and click on the bell for future uploads. Join the Express Train Discord server. Join my memberships if you want to. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in Penacony. Bye bye.